Hey, what's up, fellas? Week 3 of the college football season is officially over. Not gonna lie, felt pretty empty without my UNLV Rebels playing. And even though a majority of my weekend was spent waiting on the USC game to actually be played, it was an overall fun week of college football. So let's run through this as fast as possible, starting with my USC Trojans. Alright, so let's start there. I'm not gonna come on here be all doom and gloom. We're not making the playoffs, all this other stuff that I'm sure some people on our fan base will be like. And that's because I know what Barry Odom is as a head coach. Now, is it ideal only beating Purdue, who wasn't very good last year, by 16? No. But if you know anything about how Barry Odom operates, he was building momentum these past 2 weeks and he wanted to peak at this game. Now, the fact that we were able to weather the storm and come away with our first road win in the Big Ten, I think says a whole lot more about where this team can go going forward than it does about how we aren't ready to take the next step. With me saying that, is there things that I saw today I didn't want to see? Yeah, I think we got to start defensively. We look unprepared. I don't know whose fault that is. I'm not going to blame anyone just yet. If I see it again for a third straight game, then we got to start pointing fingers at Danton Lynn. Our run defense felt worse than it actually was. Statistically, wasn't bad at all, but our pass defense sucked at times. And I'm not trying to take away from the fact that Purdue's Ryan Brown played an excellent game besides those 3 picks he threw, but with a defense as talented as ours, to give up as many easy chunk plays as we did, especially over the middle, when we have linebackers that are athletic enough to create pass deflections or just disrupt the rhythm of the receiver. It wasn't just the passes were open, but when they actually made the catch, they were able to move up the field without anyone touching them or just bad tackling, and that really killed us. It wasn't just the backers, the DB struggled too. They have to progress by next week. I don't think they'll be tested against Michigan State, but please, for the love of God, just look like you know what you're doing. Did I already talk about the tackling? Tackling was not good. On offense, it wasn't perfect either. Our zone run plays took far too long, and I don't really blame them or anyone on offense. I feel like that was just a Lincoln scheme thing. I think to start games, we gotta start calling straight up halfback dives or just plays that go up the field. Quit trying to bounce stuff to the outside and prolonging plays that end up being losses or just momentum killers. And I'm sure there's some other negative things, but that's all I could think of off the top of my head right now, and we won. So let's actually focus on the good of the game. Like Mayava, I think he's a baller. He started off extremely hot. He was throwing lasers all across the field. And we already know about Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane. Those guys are the guys, or however you want to say it. It's up to you. I don't care. But those are the 2 best receivers on any team in the Big Ten, maybe even in the country. There is no better duo. I'm convinced. Anytime Purdue doubled one, the other was always open. Our defensive line looks legit, at least when it comes to pass rush. They look big, fast, physical, aggressive. Honestly, I have so much respect for Purdue's quarterback, Ryan Brown. We beat the shit out of him all day, and he was still able to make plays. We disrupted his rhythm for the entire game, which led to one of the best plays of the day. We got a thick 6, Ja Jarrett, that big mountain of a man just stumbling down the field. Brother, I got up out of my chair and I was like doing a rain dance or something. I was extremely excited. Individually on defense though, Gentry had a game. 2 sacks, 8 total tackles. He was all over the field. There was that one hiccup where he should have got a pick, but we're not stressing on it now. Like I said, Mayava is turning out to be a guy that I think we can trust now. If we get him in rhythm, he can ball. I think he's a Heisman level player when he's in rhythm. Now, getting him in rhythm could kind of take some time during the game, and it could be worrisome. This game, we didn't have to worry about that. He still made some mistakes that probably he should have paid for, but luckily, due to a talent gap, it didn't bite us. Overall, his improvement is immense from last year. Wayman Jordan had an okay game. I think early on, he was kind of struggling, but 18 carries for 77 yards and a tud. Not bad numbers. Was it the best game? No, but Barry Odom, great coach. I think Purdue's going to end up being an okay team. I'm not saying that let's go crazy, we're going to win the national title, but I don't think y'all need to be worrying as much as I see most of the Trojan fans out there are. You know? Hell, I could be wrong, though, and it could bite us in the ass next week against Michigan State, but I almost feel more confident in next week's game than I did going into this one. It just, something felt off, and maybe it was the 3-hour postponement of the game because of lightning. I don't know, but we'll make it through. It's fine. It's fine, right? Before we move on to the other games, I gotta talk about that officiating. That was dog shit. Legitimately, it was ruining the experience of watching the game. And I'm not saying that just because we were the ones that got dinged most of the time, but these Big Ten refs in general have been awful. Like, I'm not sure if UNLV UCLA game was officiated by them, but I'm guessing it is because I know they like doing that shit. It completely killed the flow of that game just like it did with this game. They need to work on their officiating. All right, let's look at other games. LSU Florida, I think that's closer than I thought it would be. I thought LSU was going to run away with this game. DJ Lagway threw an awful pick. God, man, he has the talent, but sometimes I don't understand what he's seeing out there. Ohio kept it close with Ohio State for a half. Shout out to Parker Navarro. I think the Bobcats are a good team in the MAC. I kind of think they'll win the MAC, actually. Miami beat up South Florida. That sucked. I don't hate Miami. I just really wanted South Florida to win that. I thought that would have been a cool story. Of course, Georgia, Tennessee. Joey Aguilar was so close. Man, was he close. The fun thing is apparently no one wants to play fucking defense no more in the SEC, though. So that's cool at the top end of that conference. I could talk about Arch Manning, but it'd be a waste of time. I don't think he's that good. Let's look at the two games that I called, though. Vandy and the Georgia Tech game, bro. So Vandy just went into Williams-Brice and beat the piss out of South Carolina. They got Pavia. They got the Pavia pump parlay. Big Pavia down your throat. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm just so happy that he's balling in the SEC, man. It wasn't perfect. He threw an awful pick too. He didn't need to throw that, but shout out to him. Shout out to Vanderbilt. Hopefully they make a run. Clemson, Georgia Tech. I told you guys, there was like some Haynes King magic that was going to happen. Now, I just don't understand how they continuously run this guy into the ground, though. 25 carries for 103 and a tud. No passing touchdowns, but pretty efficient. 20 for 28, 211 through the air. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't look like the team that we thought they were. And of course, I gotta end this video by talking about SC's biggest rivals. Both of them. I would talk about UNLV's biggest rival, UNR, but y'all clowns just lost to Middle Tennessee, so you don't deserve time. Ruck-Fino. But let's start in Westwood. The debacle on Friday. New Mexico slapping up UCLA. What the fuck was that? Nico looked terrible. I didn't even want to pile on the kid. Yeah, he sucks. Yeah, everything he did sucks. But UCLA, there's something institutionally wrong with that school. I love it. Like I said, I wanted my UNLV Rebels to beat them. Happened. As a USC fan, I don't want them to ever win a game again. But at this point, it is pathetic. They need to tarmac. I mean, I guess you can't get tarmac to just sidewalk fire Deshaun Foster. And I don't think he's a bad coach. I just don't think he was ready for this job. Tino Sanseri doesn't know what he's doing. Nico looks like a shell of himself because the offensive line will not protect him. There is no talent around him. He's going to jump in the portal. They cannot be a serious football school if Deshaun Foster is still the coach by Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday. Just before the next game, it has to go. Damn. Well, while I was editing this video, it looks like UCLA actually did it. This kind of sucks as a USC fan. I was hoping that they would continue to extend him, but hopefully they keep getting incompetent head coaches. As for the Golden Domers, way to go. I thoroughly enjoyed watching Marcel Reed, as I am a Marcel Reed enjoyer, have his way with the strongest part of your team. Marcus Freeman's defense was god-awful tonight at home. You guys could have put the game away, but you didn't. Now you got to live with that 0-2 start to the season. And I cannot wait to see what USC's offense will do to you. Anyways, thank you guys for checking this out. As always, if you guys like stuff like this, think about subscribing. I'd appreciate it if you leave a comment. I always like talking. Most importantly, I think you should like the video.